Hey, peace and blessings to the tribe. What's up, everybody? Antoine.Digital here. If you can hear me, please type in the chat unlock. If you can see my screen, type unlock twice. And we're going to get this thing started. Welcome to week 3 of the Algo-Trading camp, presented to you by Unlock Academy. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's already here. And we got some more people who are going to show up. Shout out to all of the dedicated, consistent, and driven question asking people, students who've been going hard for the last 3 weeks. Salute yourself. Hope you enjoying this process and loving everything that you're learning and unlocking. I see you, David. Peace. What's up, Drew? What's up, Stan? Peace, peace, brother. What's up, young Elijah? Jamie. What's up, squad? Peace, everybody. Okay, peace, peace. If this is anybody's first week, let us know in the chat. Say this is your first week so I can give you a recap just so you know where we at and where we headed towards. All right. Drew, your first week. All right. Welcome. Have you been able to watch any of the replays? Let us know. If you have already done week 1 and week 2 homework, please type homework in the chat. Type homework in the chat if you can. Please watch these replays. We edit them for you guys. Make sure they get up there as soon as possible, so that way you can, keep your momentum going. So if you're watching this, definitely take advantage of being able to watch these videos as many times as you like to really understand everything we're going over. All right, cool, cool. I'm seeing a lot of people who've already got started, who've unlocked both weeks of homework. Somebody missed last week. All right. Nope, nope. If you already did Python 101, you're good on the Python homework. You already understand the basics. Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna jump into it. Today we're gonna be doing the algo part of the algo trading camp. We're gonna do some coding, and I'm gonna show you guys how we can literally unlock the charts and create our own charts from real world data. Okay, it's gonna be really dope. Before we get started, I want to jump in with our disclaimer and let you know that trading contains a substantial amount of risk and it's not for every investor. So take what you hear today as informational purposes only. And if you're going to invest, only use risk capital. And risk capital is money that you can afford to lose just in case something goes wrong. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go through a quick recap to show you guys where we left off at. All right. We talked about what algorithms are and how you can use those to build just about anything digital around us. All right. We looked at websites. We look at different mobile apps we use, autonomous cars, even video games all contain code. And then we talked about what trading is. And trading is just this process of predicting whether the price of a product, whether that's a stock or a cryptocurrency, or any kind of money market instrument, whether that price is going to go up or go down. So people who guess correctly and do their analysis correctly, they win. And usually those people are using some kind of software to make that happen. Some people just look at the charts all day, but they still use some kind of indicators or some kind of plugins to make them a better trader. So what we've been talking about is how at the Unlock Academy, we're teaching people how to build their own trading software. So that way you can also dominate these charts and you don't have to feel like an underdog when going against some of the bigger banks out here. So if you have software on your side, like we've built T.Bot, then you'll be able to also compete at a real, highly successful rate. Some examples of things that you can trade include stocks, where you can buy and have ownership in a particular company. Crypto, which is a digital asset, which is like digital currency, a digital money. Gold, which we all know to be like a very popular and highly valued metal. You also can trade Forex, which means trading different currency pairs against each other. So you can trade that the $1 in the US is going to go up or down compared to a dollar in Canada or the Japanese yen. And believe it or not, people are making a lot of money off of speculating whether the price will go up or go down, mainly because they know how to do what we call analysis. So you can do analysis by either reading the charts um, and doing what we call technical analysis, or by paying attention to the news and the company's history, which is what we call fundamental analysis. And when we get into algo trading, we pretty much want to merge those two things together. So we want to take our ability to code, or at least understand code, and hire the right coders to build strategies for winning trading. And if we can automate that, we'll pretty much get to the point to where we're printing money.
Have you ever heard of algo trading or high frequency trading? Have you ever heard of black box trading?
We watched this video. I posted on the website so we can watch it again. We don't have to go through it now because I really want to get into this coding lesson, okay? So before we get into it, let me go ahead and pull up a chart so we all can be on the same page about what's happening here. All right. So this right here is the cryptocurrency we call Bitcoin versus the US dollar. So this is just going back to this month, February 15th, and currently the date is February 22nd. So this is looking at the last 7 days. And if you look at the last 7 days of Bitcoin, the first 3 days, we're looking here. I'm gonna draw a box around the first 3 days. Okay. Actually, the first four, if you really pay attention, we had a huge uptrend. And what that means is that the price of Bitcoin, which we see here as BTC, has been going up and up and up. So it went from 47,000 on the 15th to about 56,000 on the 20th. So what we want to do is, of course, you want to speculate that the price is going to go up and really be right. But how would you have known that the price was going to go up? Well, you would have to do some kind of analysis, right? So we'll be getting into different kind of things you can do, different kind of strategies in a different, more extensive course. But what we're going to be doing now is showing how you can at least get started with automating analysis, right? There's different things you can look at. I'll give you an example of one very, very popular strategy, and then we'll even see if we can put that into code as well. This strategy is called a moving average crossover. And what that means is you see these two lines, this red and this blue line here. These things represent what is the average price over the last 50 days for this red line. And this blue line represents what has been the average price over the last 9 days. Okay. If that makes sense to you, type unlock in the chat. If not, ask the question so we can clarify this for you. Pretty much each one of these, just to emphasize, each one of these candles represents the price at a given hour. So at 2 o'clock, the price was at about 46,000. At 3 o'clock, it was at 47,000. At 4 o'clock, it was at like 46,000. So the price is going up, down, up, but mostly up. Okay. And also these lines are moving along with the price. So as the price goes up, notice how the red line goes up as well. So this red line is getting higher and higher because the price is getting higher. And what that only thing that means is that the average price over the last 29 days for this blue line is going up. So, and that just means we're seeing higher pricing. And for us, all we really need to do is just understand how to look at these lines and notice a pattern. And what we notice is that anytime the price is below these lines, the market is going down. But as soon as these candlesticks go above the blue and the red line, the market is going up. Okay. Now, sometimes it goes above it and goes back down. So it's not 100% perfect strategy, but it's a strategy that people use in combination with other kind of strategies as well. So it really works. It's really powerful. But you do have to mix it with other things. But I just want to show you at a really basic level how if we just watch this price, and if you were able to get in As soon as the price went above this line, and I'll draw an arrow right here. If you were able to get in right at this candlestick, and then even if you got out right here when it went a little bit higher, you can make money, right? Even if you get in just at that point, where if you get in at 47,000 and then you get out at 47,500, that's still profit that you can make. Okay, that's still profit. So that's a strategy. Once it goes above this line, it's usually going to go up. But of course, we're looking for those big jumps. We're looking for, like, for example, here it goes above the line and then it makes a bigger jump. So it goes from being here to here, all above that blue line after it was trading underneath it. So once again, this is called the moving average crossover, where the price of the candlestick crosses over the moving average. So these candlesticks go from being underneath it to above it. And when it's above it, that means we're in an uptrend. Okay. So this is the thing. You can stare at the charts. And right now, let's say I go to the latest of what Bitcoin currently is. Right now, the price is below the moving averages. Okay. So that means we're currently in a downtrend. As you can see, the price is going down, right? So the price was, let's say 12 hours ago, the price was at 58,000. And now the price is down here at 52,000. Okay. So it's a $6,000 difference. And if you would have got in right here, as soon as the price went underneath the moving average, and we're going to be talking about this extensively in the SMA tribe. So shout out to all the SMA students, because after the camp, we still going to be going deeper into this strategy. Um, After it crosses underneath it, you could have bought in and said, I think that the price is going to go down. It's going to be a downtrend. And you would have been right. In this situation, you would have been right. So what we want to do is you can stare at the charts and you can wait for the price to go above it and below it and above it and below it, and guess if it's really going to keep going up or keep going down. That's one way to do it. So that's one form of technical analysis. Or you can automate it. And what automated mean is that you turn this into code and you make the code, which is your computer, do the work for you. So you have your computer watching this chart as it moves up and down, right? Remember, this thing is moving all day because it's cryptocurrency. So if I go to the 3-minute chart and you look, you're going to see this thing is moving right now. So we could be sitting here watching and waiting for the price to get right here, which means it's above. And that will be probably a good time to buy if other things line up as well, which we could talk about later. But my thing is, that's just one way to do it. We can also automate it. And that's when it comes to getting into some coding. All right. So today we're going to get into some actual coding, how is where I'm going to show you how you could turn this chart into code. So that way your computer can start the process of analyzing it for you. Okay. So this will be the first step. The first step to getting your computer to automatically trade for you is you first need to get your own copy of the chart in code, right? It's just like anything else in the world, like we talked about in week 1 and week 2. The goal with coding is to take anything in the physical world and make it digital. All right. Take something in the physical world and make it digital. So in this situation, you see me looking at this chart, right? Looking at this chart right now on my computer. And if I want to automate it, I need to turn it into a digital representation of it. So it's a few things that I need to do. So bear with me today, right? What we're going to be doing today is I'm going to walk you through a few different things on how to create this chart. We're going to be coding in Python, and I don't want you to get intimidated by what you see. I just want you to understand the process of how it works. You're not meant to master what you see me do today and understand it 100%, but what you should understand is just the process of how these things all go together. Okay. So ask questions more so about the process and not more so about the actual code and how coding works and things like, I mean, maybe you can ask how coding works, but how this particular like line and what this line of code means. Try not to get boggled down and confused. Just make sure you understand how the pieces all go together. Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to show you is how we're going to get our data. So when I go back over here to Trading View really quick, just so you know, Trading View is it's an online website that shows you the price of so many different cryptocurrencies or stocks. We can look up Tesla, we can look up Amazon, right? See what the Amazon stock is doing. Looking really low. It's going down over the last few hours or 3 minutes. Actually, this is a 1 minute chart. Let's see what it's really looking like on like the daily chart. Okay, yeah, it's still pretty high on the daily chart. We could look up Apple, see how Apple's doing. So you got to ask yourself, like, where is TradingView getting these numbers from? Right? TradingView is doing something that you can do as well. You can create your own charts and allow other people to see your charts and draw lines on the charts, right? Just like this. You can create this same exact software if you wanted to where people can do all this kind of like trends and pattern recognition. You can do this as well. You can build the same software, but you need data. So the question becomes, where do you get the data from? So in order to get the data, you need to find you a data provider. So I'm going to put you onto a data provider right now, a free one, right? So that way you can use your code to automatically get this data, right? You don't have to do anything once you write the code to do it for you. So literally you can go to this website called polygon.io and they'll teach you how to use their data and how you can access their data to put into your application, to your website, to feed to your trading bot to make great trades. Okay. So right here it says financial market data platform. You can get stock data, Forex data, crypto data, and more. Okay. It's being used by a lot of big companies and they're pulling their data from a bunch of different exchanges. So they're getting data from the New York Stock Exchange, from NASDAQ, from Binance, from Coinbase, from so many different exchanges, hundreds of exchanges, and they put it all in one place for us to access through our code. So it's a really powerful concept. Okay. And they're not the only company who provides data like this. Okay. There's other companies. I'll give you an example. Spotify. Spotify allows you to access songs that you've listened to, different genres, different artists through code. So if you wanted to, you can list all of your favorite albums or any album you listen to on a website by accessing what's called an API, the Spotify API. Okay, and API just stands for Application Program Interface. That was one of your homework words. So I hope you got a chance to look that up. And pretty much it's just a way for two sets of code to interact with each other. So your code that you write can talk to Spotify code because Spotify pretty much built this middleman. Same thing with Polygon. They built a middleman. They made it easy for us to access all of this data. Another example will be Twitter. If you would like to show all of your friends from Twitter on your website, you can write code to go and grab all of the friends from Twitter. They'll make it easy for you to do that, and then you can show it on your website. Okay. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. This is an example of what the data would look like. When you ask for data from a website, they'll send it like this. They'll say, let's say you said, hey, send me all of my friends and each of their favorite foods. It'll send you back their name. Every data structure will have name, age, favorite foods. You see the second one, name, age, favorite foods. Third one, name, age, favorite foods. Now the values may change. The name is going to change each time. The age is going to change, and even the favorite foods will change. But this is how data comes back. Okay. And it will be the same thing for Twitter, same thing for Spotify, but just different values. It'll show songs, albums for Spotify. For Twitter, it'll show your friends' information and maybe email addresses and their interests. And then for Polygon.io, I'll show you what it's going to return. So we go here. It's going to return ticker information. Like what is the data for a particular stock or cryptocurrency. So let's say I go down here to, we'll go down to cryptocurrencies. And let's say I wanted to get all of the bars for a cryptocurrency. This is what the data is going to look like when they send it back. They're going to tell me what is the ticker. It's Bitcoin USD. Status just means did everything go well? Say yes. Count is how many values is sent back, which was 2. It only sent back 2 bars, and that would be 2 candlesticks. That's it. It will send back 2 candlesticks. I'm gonna go back to Bitcoin USD. Okay. Zoom into the 1 hour chart. Okay, cool. So that's that right there. It's going to send back, each one of these represents a chart. What was the open price? That's what O stands for. What was the close price? That's what C stands for. What was the high? That's the H. And what was the low? That's the L. T stands for time zone, and this is, I mean, for time, and this represents the time in seconds. Don't worry about that. It's jargon. We don't have to do that right now. Volume, it shows you how many people were purchasing at that moment, which is really dope too. So once again, Polygon gives us this information. This is a website created by a company. They wrote a whole bunch of code to make it easier for us to get a whole bunch of data from all of these different exchanges. So this is why it's possible for us to build a robot, because of websites like Polygon, because of websites like Owanda and TD Ameritrade. They've created ways for us to get data that looks like this on a chart, but it looks like this in code. Okay. So now you can tell people when you looking at charts, you know what the code looks like behind it. Okay. Someone asks, what API should I use and what coding editor do you use? So the APIs that I'm suggesting is the Polygon. If you're trying to get data for trading, you can get crypto data, you can get Forex data, you can get stock data as well. So it's really cool, it's powerful, but there's so many different APIs. All you have to do is Google, like, for example, Forex APIs, and you'll see some lists. All right, that's one way to do it. You can also do something like crypto API. And that just means like this is going to show you who's going to give you the data you need so you can start to build some automated systems. So in theory, as the bot gets better, you could make your own code based off of how it reacts to the trends, if that makes sense. Yes, exactly. Yep, exactly. As the bot gets better, you can make your own code, and that's what we're doing. That's what T.bot does. It's just going to keep adjusting to the markets. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to take the data that we get here, that we just talked about over here, this response data, and we want to turn it into our own chart. So we want to create our own charts. And we're able to do that with a website called Plotly. So Plotly is a way for us to build really, really cool graphs through code. So we can build stuff that looks just like what TradingView has through code, right? Through Plotly, which is a easy way to go about it. So I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like today. Let me see if I can give you an example. Here we go, right here. So look, they allow you to just create different charts. Here's another one. You can style it any way you want. So you see how this one looks? You can see how we can get to this point same way. So we can create our own if we wanted to. All right. So let's jump over here to the code. I want to jump into the code, show you guys what that's looking like. And Jacqueline said, if I don't make my own bot, can I use T.bot? Yep, for sure. That's the goal. We letting people use T.bot now, actually. Okay. All right. So if you can see my coding editor, type unlock for me. Okay, cool. All right. So once again, I already gave y'all one disclaimer. I'm gonna say this again. Do not get caught up in the code, right? When you take our Python class or you take any other Python class and you study it, hopefully they teach you as well as we're gonna try to teach you, you'll learn what each one of these lines mean in detail. Today, I'm going to just break down each line at a high level so you understand the process, but I do not want you to master this today. So don't feel intimidated. Just know that there are students in the tribe who have been able to go from nothing, not knowing anything about coding, not knowing anything about Python, to being able to write code similar to this. Okay. This is a really basic example. It's about 8 to 10 lines of code, and we're going to write a whole graph. So that same graph we saw on Trade and View of Bitcoin, we're going to create it ourselves. So I'm going to start by creating a empty file, new, and I'm going to call it Algo Trading Camp.py. So this is how you create a Python file. You just do a new Python file. Right now I'm using a coding editor called PyCharm. Okay. It's called PyCharm right here. All right. So boom, we got a simple empty file right here. And now we can start typing our code in there. I'll try to zoom in. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. All right, I put it in presentation mode, but I don't like it. It's too full. Um, for new beginners, how long would it take to learn code at this level? So for the level that I'm about to show you today, you can learn this in about our Python 101 class, plus about 2 weeks of learning how Plotly works, 2 weeks of learning how Pandas works. So I would say, depending on how much time you put into it, because I know everybody's different, everybody's schedule's different, I would say 2 to 4 months. That's it. 2 to 4 months if you really go hard and buckle down. Do about an hour to 3 hours per day, minimum 1 hour. Okay. I'm trying to see if I can find a zoom so we can get a good look at this. They never had to make it this hard to zoom though. Let's go. Okay, when all fails, go to Google and we're gonna do a. Any other questions? Any other questions from the tribe? Oh, they fronted to me. They told me Control Shift A. Mm, okay, so let me know if this is too if this is big enough for you guys. Let me know if you can see the code clear. Yeah, so is who's willing to put in that 2 to 4 months to learn this? That's the question. Python is intimidating and frustrating a little starting out, but fun once you get it. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, like any other language, whether it's Chinese or Spanish, starting off is definitely going to be frustrating trying to get used to it coming from, your native language. Any particular reason you chose PyCharm for a coding editor? Yeah, it supports Python the best. That's the main reason. So it has a lot of features for it already. It's quick, and yeah, I've just been using it for the longest too for Python. So it has a lot of cool features that work perfect with the language. But you could use different coding editors as well. Do you need a high RAM to operate a bot? Nope. Nope, you sure don't because we host our bot in the cloud. So you do need high RAM, but not on your computer. I'll show you how to do it in the cloud. So you use the cloud's RAM. That's a different subject. Yeah, so you can use any laptop to start building it. But I always suggest a Windows or a Mac. Code as a language, never thought of it that way. Yeah, for real, it really is. It really is. When I say I'm bilingual, it's only because I know how to code too. And you can step into certain rooms and talk about this stuff um, in a real, like convoluted, jargonized type of way. So it's really like another language. Yep, like Azure. Yep, Azure is a great cloud system where you can host a trading bot. hmm So does my screen look good? Can you see this code? Okay, cool. All right, thanks. All right, I'm gonna split this in half. Okay. All right, cool. So on the right side of my screen is the code that I already built, and then on the left side, I'm gonna show you exactly what it all means. I'm gonna retype it again. Okay. So we're gonna start right here at this first top line where it says import request in JSON. Import request, and I can do this on separate lines as well. And import JSON. So in Python, remember Python is just a language, and what's going to be happening is anything we type here, when we press the play button, PyCharm, which is our coding editor, is going to run our code and read one line at a time. That's all that's going to happen. So if I remember, I told you in a different example before, if I just said print um, peace to the tribe, and I run this, you're going to see a screen pop up at the bottom, and then you'll also see where it says peace to the tribe right here. Okay. So that's all we're going to be doing right here. Let me see, view, move to. Okay. So that's it. That's what's going to happen here. We're going to be writing some code, and then our computer and PyCharm is going to execute it for us. So the first thing we need to do is we need to import some libraries, right? And I'm going to make a note at the top of this file about what that means. So first step, import important libraries slash packages slash plugins. So I'm just using these different names because you may hear different things, different words being used. So let's use the word plugin because I think that's an easy way to think about this. So we want to import our important plugins. A plugin is pretty much code that somebody else wrote to make it easy for us to do something else. Okay, so somebody already wrote this code. Now we want to import it into our code so we can use it. That's it. So imagine you're trying to, you have a new car, right? You have a new Cadillac Rolls Royce. You have a Cadillac Escalade, and you want to put new rims on it, or new tinted windows, or a new stereo. You have to order that part. Somebody already built those things. Somebody already built those items, those additional features. Now you just have to import it to your house so that way you can use it on your car, on your new truck. So that's what we're doing here. It's the same situation where we just want to add, we want to upgrade our code by using other people's already built features. That way we don't have to build it from scratch. So it saves us a whole bunch of time, a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of energy. All right. So now the ones that I'm important, right? I'll put a little comment next to it. This plugin allows us to call any API on the internet. What that means is we can call any other code base on the internet. So we can call the Spotify API, like I just showed you, the Twitter API, the Instagram API. But what we're going to be focused on is the Polygon API, which is this is going to allow us to request. That's why it's called that. It's going to allow us to request financial data. Okay, it's going to allow us to request financial data. Now, when we get that data, it's going to come back in a certain format. And I showed you guys what this format looked like before, and I'm going to show you again. Over here on the right side of my screen, this is how the data is going to come back from Polygon. This is what we call JSON data. It has a curly bracket, and then it has a name colon value. Name colon value. Name colon value. It has that same pattern all the way down. Name colon, and then we have a value, but this time the value is a list of different things. So don't worry about the details of what's in here, but just get used to seeing that this is how data is going to come. It's going to come shaped like this long, what we call a string in Python. Okay. So, but the main thing is a structure. When you have structured data, you know what to expect, and now your code can run against it every single time. And that's what we want. We want something consistent. So JSON was something that was built based on a language called JavaScript. And it's just a way for all of these different APIs to share data in a consistent format. So it's kind of like how people communicate with each other. When you first step into a room, we do a greeting, right? You say hello, you say hi, you bow, right? That's how humans interact with each other. And then when you're ready to leave, we all say bye, or we wave, or we say peace. That's how humans interact with each other. So that's like our agreed upon communication standards. Same thing in coding, the same exact thing. When your code needs to talk to another code base, it needs to go through some kind of um, pre-planned and pre-structured code base, which what we have here. So it's called JSON. That's the name of it. So JSON is just, and I'm gonna go ahead like that. I'm gonna put another comment. Say this plugin allows us to format the JSON data for our Python code. So this plugin just makes it easy for us to see data like this and then manipulate it, like start to access it and pull out how many results, right? What was the close price of a specific on a specific date and time? That's what we're going to be able to do. So if you're catching on, what you're going to start seeing is each one of these packages is going to make our bot. Each one of these things build up to making our own trading bot or our own just analysis bot. It could just do analysis as well. So we got some other ones as well here we're going to use, and we're going to skip over them for now, but we're going to come back to all of these things we need to import. Okay. The first line I want to do is I want to keep talking about requests since we just talked about that. And we're going to use this line right here where it says R equals. So in Python, you just want to create a variable called R and say it's equal to something. So what is it equal to? what we want to do is we want to call the Polygon API using a request plugin. So that's what this line does. Call the Polygon API and request Bitcoin USD data. Okay, so that's what we're doing with this line. Request, because we're requesting that data from api.polygon.io. This is the main API. Everything else is what specifically do you need. So first, what version of the API do you need? So for us, we're saying version 2 because that's the most recent. Secondly, there's different ways that you can ask for data. And in this situation, we want to get the aggregated data, not just like the most recent candle. Where aggregated means we want an aggregated amount of information over the last X amount of time. So for us, from February 10th to February 22nd, get me all of the Bitcoin data, right? Get me all of the Bitcoin candlesticks. So that's what's happening. So I'm gonna go back over here to, and the only reason why I knew how to write this right here, this is not nothing fancy I created. I'm gonna show you how easy this is. Only thing I started off with was this: R equals request dot get. And I was like, okay, what do I need to get? I didn't know what I needed to get, just question marks, right? I don't know what I need to get. But when you go over here to Polygon, Polygon tells you. So it says, hey, if you're looking to get the aggregated data, get aggregate bars for a cryptocurrency pair over a given date range. Okay, that's the key thing. Forget the rest of it. So get the bars for a cryptocurrency pair over a given date range. Okay, you can specify by the minute, meaning each one of the bars is going to represent a minute or an hour or every 15 minutes. Okay, and then they tell you what you can pass through. What's the ticker? What's the time span? The from date, the to date, and then they even create the string for you. So now I got this. I got the API call right here. All I got to do is press copy and then put this into my code. That's it. So you come to, this is, remember, this is Polygon's website, their documentation. They tell you how to use their data. So in our Python course, I'm going to be teaching you how to read through these kind of pages because I don't expect you to understand all of this right now. But in the course, we teach you how to understand these pages, right? It's not that difficult and they all start to look the same after a while. Remember, I just showed you the Spotify one, similar thing. It shows the description, pass through the ID, the market, and the token. That's what they want specifically. That's what Spotify wants. But Polygon, they want a ticker, they want the time span, the from date, the to date, that kind of thing. All right. So remember, they gave us the string that we needed. All we got to do is copy it and take it back over to our code. So that's where that's when I replace these question marks with that line. I just copy and paste it, and there we go. Boom. They filled in everything else for us. Our API key, which is the special key unique only to us. And I'm going to have to reset mine today after showing you guys mine. So you never want to show anybody your key, right? I'll show you mine now because I'm about to reset it. But just remember that you never want to show anybody your secret key because then they'll be able to get data on your behalf and who knows what they're going to do with it. And sometimes it may be to something really personal like a PayPal account, right? A PayPal API key. You don't want to give anybody your bank API key, something like that. Can it only do one API at a time? Nope, you can do multiple in one file. So you can have a whole bunch of API calls to different exchanges all in one file. It'll do it one after another. There's a way to do them both at the same exact time too, but that's advanced. We could talk about that later. Okay. So let me see if I want to keep all of this like that. I'm gonna get rid of this first one. I mean, yeah, the one with the question marks. So I'm gonna use the most recent data to the 22nd of February. Okay. So that's what that line does right there. Our next line that you see right here is what happens is you see this R equals request.data. Polygon is going to return this data right here. This is what Polygon is going to send us back. That's where I got this from. I copied it from the website. And then, or it's going to send us something in this format. Even though it may change, this may change from Bitcoin USD to Tesla, right? We might be getting the Tesla stock data, or we might be getting Apple stock data. It doesn't matter, right? The main thing that does matter is that the data is all going to come back looking like this. So when it comes back looking like this, we're going to store it in our variable right here called R. Okay, this is where we're going to store it at right here in R. Now for Python to be able to really use it, what we need to do is we need to load it into our JSON plugin we talked about before. So load the data from Polygon, excuse me. And let the JSON plugin format it for us. Okay. It's going to make it Python friendly. That's what we're going to be doing at the end of the day. We're going to be making this code Python friendly. So it's pretty much like a translator. This right here is going to just translate that Polygon JSON data into Python JSON data. Boom, that's it. So now we have it stored. It's going to look a little bit different. It's still going to look like this, but it's going to be Python ready now. So now Python knows how to read it, and it's going to be stored in a variable called pricing. That's it. So now we have all of the prices from the last, what was it, 10 days? The last 12 days from the 10th to the 22nd. And it's all stored in a variable right here called pricing. Right? And it looks something like this. Okay. And if you don't believe me, what I can do is I can do some debugging where I right click and I click debug, and I'm gonna stop it right here at this point so you can see what it looks like. So this is when I say debugging, I'm showing you that in real time you can see what the code looks like. So now we have this right here. And it's down here at the bottom of the screen if you look, the content. It looks crazy, right? It looks okay. It's down here just in case you can't see it in the pop-up. So it just looks like one long string. And what we want to do is this line makes it to something prettier. So that way it's formatted like this and easy for Python to understand. Okay. The next line, this one right here, what this does for us is it gets the results section of our data. So remember this right here says results, and this is our actual candlestick data. So it's going to take that data and we say pricing, and this is how you call it. This is how what we call in Python a dictionary, and you want to get the certain key. So every key has a value. So pretty much you say, hey, find results and bring me the value of everything in results, which will be this block right here. Everything that's within the results key. So now prices is going to have just the results section, which I have highlighted right now. Pricing has the entire block of code that I have highlighted now. So that's the only difference. Right now, we just pretty much driving down, trying to get to the key information we need, because next we're going to throw it on the chart. Okay, next we're going to put it on the chart. So this line right here is parsing out just the candlestick prices, right? So that way we go, this is what we're going to actually graph. And remember the goal, if we can create our own graph through code, right, then we can automate analyzing that graph as well. This is the process. First, we need to be able to prove that we can create a graph through code, and then we can automate the analysis of that graph. So now we got the prices, and we want to be able to create a graph from it. So right now, this next line is key. What it does is it's just going to normalize our pricing, right? We're going to normalize our pricing and make it so that, oh, actually I don't need this. All I need is prices. Cool. Normalize our prices and make it easy to graph on a chart. So we use something called Pandas. Pandas is another library. I'll put it right here, right? Pandas allows us to, oops, easily format financial data, right? So Pandas was built to handle like large amounts of data, and especially financial data or weather data or health data, anything that is like really huge and massive. It makes it quick to analyze it and go through it. So JSON by itself, it would take a long time to parse through, let's say 1,000 candlesticks. If you put it inside of a Pandas, um, what we call a data frame, DF, oops. And once again, we talk about this one in Python tool too. Let me copy over the rest of these. Yeah, it makes it really easy to be able to graph it and do it in a quick way. So watch how quick this happens when I actually run this code. You're gonna see how quick it is to graph a chart. Something that you would think would take hours for you to draw and write by hand, but watch how quick it is when we just do it one step at a time. Okay. So I also have a function I already created called create plotly graph. Okay. Create the plotly graph. And we're not going to go into detail on how that works, but this is what I told you about Plotly right here, right? Plotly allows us to create a whole layout, create an x-axis, an x-axis, a y-axis, and then actually all you have to do is call fig.show, which means show this figure. I don't want to get too much into this today because this will get complicated, and that's not the goal. Today's conversation is merely about how do we get data from an API, format it, and then display it. Okay. So in these lines of code right here is what we're trying to do. Oh, I got to make this data frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code. These are the key 5 lines of code. We want to get the API data from Polygon. We want to format it in JSON. Then we want to get this specific. Once it's in JSON, now we can get a specific item out of that data easily just by doing a line like this on 62. And then we can format it to be easy to analyze and chart and graph. And then we just call our graph code to actually show it. Okay. So if I right click and click run, I'm gonna share my screen and show you what's just popped up. Okay. Boom. This is the chart that just popped up. This is the Bitcoin chart. The same exact chart if you look over here on TradingView. Okay, look at the similarities. We could change this UI, we can make it look different, we can add anything we want to it, but just look, right? We've been able to create our own graph and our own chart. It's the same data, right? The price is currently down here at 59.81, and that's the same thing we have over here. Okay. So this is the power of Python, that we can create our own charts, right? And how many lines of code? Total, you come here, it says 65 lines of code. 65 lines of code. So someone asked earlier, how long would it take to be able to write this code? Just think about it, 65 lines. So even if you study each one of these lines, 65 of them, right? And it's really less than that because we have a lot of spaces in here. Let's say it's 60 lines of code. And if you just study 5 lines a day for the next 12 days, right, you'll be able to understand so much more about how this all works. It's only 60 lines, guys. Really think about that. And this is one part of the program. So this just gets us the information to be able to graph our own chart. Next, we'll write some lines, which will be the strategy and how do we find good trading opportunities. And then it's about how do we automate the actual trade. So we'll be breaking this up. You see, we have a project over here. We could break this up into different sections. We can have a pattern recognition code. We can have an actual like trading code, get the data code like we just have right here. You break it up into these other components. And also, if when you watch our video, our course called How T.Bot Works, I give you like a really deep insight into how I built a bot. So many different components and how it all goes together. So I think that's a super valuable piece of content to watch as well. Any questions? Do you need high RAM to operate a bot? Nope, you don't, because we can use cloud data. So there's something called Amazon Web Services. There's something called Azure. There's something called Google Cloud Platform. There's something called Heroku. These are cloud-based websites. And what that means is they already own a bunch of computers. They call it the cloud, but really it's not in the cloud. It's just at some factory that's just purely computers. And they're renting you out space. They say, hey, I have these very powerful computers with a whole bunch of RAM. You can rent it out and use it. And we're going to make sure it's always live. You have backups on top of backups on top of backups, and you can access this anytime you want. Okay, so that's something cool, and that way you don't have to buy you a new computer to run this. It runs in the cloud, and it also can run all day, every day. So think about it. If it was on your computer will have to be on all day. When you push it to the cloud is running all day because it's not on your computer. It's in somebody else's um, factory or computer farm, as they call it sometime, and it's always running. Those things are always on. When I take this course, I'm gonna teach all my family how to trade. That's what's up. That's what's up right there. Pay it forward, guys. That's one of our core competencies is to pay it forward. Okay. Yeah, it's not a lot. For real, it's not a lot. And the payoff, like just think about the payoffs on how this can work, right? Right now, it took me less than, and I know I've been coding for some years now, but just to show you the power of it, once you get to that point, I was able to build this trading bot in about 2 months, right? I was able to build the first version of it in about 2 months. And ever since then, now, only thing I focus on is adding more strategies to it, right? Adding more intelligence to it. So, but you can get you a really good version out the door in a small amount of time. And this is like huge because back in the day, if you wanted to build a trading system, it would have took you years. Like it would have took you 3 or 4 years to be able to build something that really works, something that's stable, something that's automated. And now the way the code has advanced, we really are not. It's just sad because you may not appreciate this. You see 65 lines of code and you're like, oh my God, this is so much. But really, like we've come so far. We've come so far, and the people who take advantage of this will be the people who really dominate the markets. Yep. Yeah. So if you want to learn more in depth, um, this is what I suggest right here. You join the Python tribe. Join the Python tribe. All right. It's so dope because not only are we gonna be talking about how to build trading bots, we're gonna show you how Python can do so much, like so much. Python was used to build um, some really recent breakthroughs at NASA, right? NASA used some really high technology to do some things and take some pictures and do some satellite imaging, and they use Python. Google Maps uses Python. Spotify, we talked about earlier, Netflix, Uber, Facebook, Airbnb, all of these websites have explicitly said they use Python to pull off a lot of their best features. So that's why we've been focusing on it. There's other languages out there as well. Some have been more popular, but now when you look at one of the most popular and when you look at the most popular programming languages, Python is at the top of that list. All right. JavaScript is also on that list. Java is on that list. Look, it was 2013. That has changed a lot. It's went down so much more. Um, I probably should look at recent data. Look at 1983. Oh, I like this video. This video pretty much gives a good breakdown of what the most popular languages was over time. So this is cool. You guys can watch this. I want to share this with you. I watched it before. It was pretty dope. All right, cool. Let's keep these questions coming. But thank you everybody for checking out this session right here. This is really cool because we got to get into some actual algorithms. So you got to see me do an algorithm in real time. And it's just a taste, just a sample. Like I said, we can get so much more in depth, but I just want you to see that it's possible for you to turn this chart right here into code so that way you can analyze it automatically opposed to staring at the chart. You can write a chart. I mean, you can write some code that creates the chart, that looks for patterns, that places the trade, and sends a signal out as well. That's exactly what T.bot does. Yeah, these are the different Python language. I mean, different languages that have been popular over the years. And you can see it now. In 1998, Python wasn't even on the list. It came in 2000, 2001. It started building up some traction. Some languages are getting kicked out. Java still was up there at the top for a while. JavaScript was at the top for a while. But as you see, Python got more and more popular. Pretty dope. Would Chromebook work with coding? Great question. So it's hard to download something like PyCharm onto your Chromebook, but what you could do is you could use a website called Replit, and Replit allows you to write Python right on the internet. So you don't need to download anything. You could do it right from your browser. So yes, you can do coding on a Chromebook. There's no excuses anymore, y'all, which is a beautiful thing. So we can, if you come across somebody who's like, I have a Chromebook, I can't code, you could say, actually, you can. Here's how. And we have our coaches have created like tutorials and some documents on how to use it. So we try to provide as much resources as possible to you guys. Yep, it's going to compile everything for you. This website does everything for you. I'm already in Unlock Academy and SMA Path. Do I still need to sign up for Python Path to incorporate it as well? Yeah, if you want to do more than just learn trading and get signals and join our trading events and secret sessions, if you want to actually start to code, yeah, you want to join the Python Path. Like a lot of our students are. A lot of our students are doing Python and SMA because you learn how to trade, but you also learn how to code so you can merge the two together. Okay. Just a reminder too, guys, don't forget to get your hoodie. All right, don't forget to get your Algo Trading hoodie. You got a few more days left to get access to our secret sessions and also our camp. Our conference is going to be dope. We're going to have some of the top coders and also some of the top traders speaking at our Algo-Trading conference. So you definitely want to be there. You can get a ticket by literally signing up for um, your own Algo-Trading camp hoodie. Thank you again, everybody else who already got theirs too. We're going to be doing another session too this week because last week we had a bunch of technical difficulties with almost all of the software. So this upcoming week, we're going to do another session. So make sure you pay attention to your email. Replay will be uploaded so you can watch that either way it goes. But once again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for helping us unlock these charts, helping us unlock the code, and helping us unlock generational wealth. Peace, unlock. Answer a couple more questions too before we jump off too. Drew said, do you set your stop loss? Does it set your stop loss for you? Yes. T.bot automatically sets stop loss for me. And take profit. I'll show you an example really quick. Here you go right here. If you look at this screen, you'll see this is a signal. So T.bot telling our students what instrument to trade, what time frame is looking at, should it buy up or buy down, what the entry price should be, what the take profit should be, and what the loss should be. Just in case it does lose, how much should it lose? All right. So it sends you that automatically. So yes, it could definitely set a stop loss. Your own bot can set your own stop loss as well. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Peace, peace. All right. Keep spreading the word, guys. Let everybody know what we're doing here at the Unlock Academy. Share. You never know who you're going to help, who you're going to help unlock. All right. See you guys next week. Actually, see you in next session. Peace.